It was Kushiausi or Father's Day today. The day was celebrated with much fanfare across the nation. The day also holds special significance for married women who visit their paternal home, in some cases after a long hiatus, as the day provides a break from their rigorous daily chores. The government had also declared a public holiday today in recognition of the contributions of late CPN-UML leader Subhash Chandra Nemwang, who was cremated earlier today. Good evening, I'm Sarah Sapsanama. Let's begin with the headlines of the hour. The government think tank Policy Research Institute recommends constitution amendment to opt for directly elected executive head. Party office bearers and sister organizations thrive on public land. The land in front of administrative hub Singadarwa registered in the name of a trade union. India's southern state of Kerala shut some schools, offices and public transport services as they scramble to limit the spread of the rare and deadly brain-damaging Nipah virus. And Nepal's Asian Game contingent given farewell. Prime Minister Tahal urges players to compete with high morale, pledges the release of blocked amount. Final rites of late former Constituent Assembly Chairperson and CPN-UML Deputy Chair Subhash Chandra Nemwang was performed with state honours in Pashupati Aryaghat earlier today. Nemwang's body was taken to Pashupati Aryaghat from his Baluata residence through Maharajganj, Narayan Gopal Chowk, Dhumbarahi, Chaba Hill and Gaushala. A team of Nepal Army had performed the condolence rally. Prime Minister Pushpa Kamal Dahal expressed tribute to late Nemwang in Aryaghat by draping late Nemwang's body with the national flag. Likewise, CPN-UML Chair KP Sharma Oli draped Nemwang's body with the party's flag. Nemwang's sons, Mingso and Suhang Nemwang, lead the funeral pyre. This followed state honours with a gun salute by a battalion of Nepal Army. Speaker Devraj Khemire, Deputy Prime Minister and Home Minister Narayan Kaji Shrestha, among other high-ranking government officials, had reached Pashupati Aryaghat to pay their homage to the late leader, who had carved out a figure of calm and composed leader. The demise of Nemwang has been seen as an irreparable loss to politics of consensus in the country. Nemwang had breathed his last in the wee hours Tuesday morning, while his final rites were conducted today, as his two sons had arrived in Nepal late yesterday from abroad. Meanwhile, both the Houses of Parliament have endorsed a condolence motion on the demise of Subhash Nemwang. The Policy Research Institute has urged the government to amend the current election system, saying that it is extravagant and flawed. The institute has pointed out the need to make elections further independent, impartial, effective and economical. The Election Commission had earlier directed the Policy Research Institute to conduct a study on the improvements required in election system and management process. The institute has submitted the report, which took 2 years to be prepared, to the Election Commission. According to the report, the current election system can be amended by moderation in acts and policies. It has been included in the report that the current election system can be improved by amendment of the Constitution based on political coordination, national debate and political consensus. The report suggests that lawmakers should be limited to legislative works. Likewise, the report suggests to downsize the number of lawmakers to 275 by including only the directly elected lawmakers. Likewise, the institute has suggested to allocate the dates to hold election and use machines recommended by the NASC for electronic voting. The report has further suggested to implement provisions that compels political parties to conduct financial transactions through banks to maintain transparency regarding their income and expenses, submit property details of candidates and make public the source of expenses carried out during election. More than 1 million people in Nepal are landless squatters and those living in unmanaged settlements. This data, however, do not include all the local levels. While the government in many places has kicked off campaigns to remove squatters, political parties have established lavish buildings in government lands for their sister organizations. A 7-ana land in the capital's Babar Mahal that belonged to the government has been used by Maoist Center to construct a 5-story building for their National Staff Union. The building also houses trade union office of the party, while 2 stories are rented by a hotel. Likewise, a 1 Ropani land in Babar Mahal has the Nepal Civil Service Staff Union, which is affiliated to main opposition CPN-UMO. The union received the land in November 2011 from the government and has built a commercial building that it also rents out. Another civil service staff union that is affiliated to Nepali Congress is also stationed in a 1 Ropani government land in Babar Mahal. The union has built a 2-story building in the land. The Mahanta Thakur-led Loktantrik Samajwadi Party affiliated Nepal Madhesh Civil Service Staff Forum and the party's office are also located in the 1 Ropani public land. Meanwhile, a similar entity close to Unified Socialist has taken up 5 rooms in the Department of Urban Development. The trend of distributing public lands in an arbitrary manner fostered specially after 2006, as so far the Council of Ministers on several occasions has handed out around 18 ropanis of land to various organizations with political affiliations. We'll take a short break here. More news coming up. Welcome back. The legal provision related to margin lending introduced by the government 6 years ago in a bid to enable investment on shares by taking loan from brokers has yet to be implemented effectively. 21 brokers had been granted permission to provide loan to share investors. A number of brokers had provided the service initially, however, it has been halted in recent time. Investment on share can be made by acquiring loan from brokers in the South Asian countries except Sri Lanka. However, loan has to be acquired from banks for this purpose in Nepal. Strong source income must be furnished while acquiring loan from banks. The government in the Nepali year 2074 had issued a directive to implement the provision of margin lending to remove the hassle of acquiring loan from banks. The directive has already been amended on 2 occasions. Following the amendment in the year 2077, 21 brokers were granted the permit to provide loan, while 3 had started providing the service. However, they have also stopped providing loans, citing lack of source. As per the regulation of margin lending, loan of up to 70% of the shares kept as security can be acquired from brokers. However, broker companies cannot acquire loan from banks against the shares of investors. The brokers have said that they do not have sufficient amount in reserve to provide loans to share investors. Meanwhile, experts opine that legal complications, including the obligation to invest only on companies selected by NEPSE, has further added difficulty. Shares purchased through margin lending are listed in a separate system. Experts say that this is another reason why the provision has failed to become effective. It's time now for our segment Public Pulse, where you text us with your opinion.
Public poll.
But before today's question, let's take a look at the results from yesterday's poll. Yesterday, we'd asked you why have public grievances regarding the works of the government increased. 63% voted for option A, no good performance, 26% for B, legitimate concerns, and 11% for C, great expectations. And here's today's question. What could be the reason for increasingly more doctors leaving the country? Your options are A, attractive income, B, lack of opportunities back home, and C, abroad attraction. The voting is on. Type NEWS, select your option A, B, or C, and send it to 34001 to share your opinion with us. Let's move on to the international update. India's southern state of Kerala shut some schools, offices and public transport services as they scramble to limit the spread of the rare and deadly brain-damaging Nipah virus that has killed 2 people, with 3 more testing positive in the past 2 weeks. The state is battling its 4th outbreak since 2018 of a virus for which there is no vaccine and which spreads through contact with the body fluids of infected bats, pigs or people, killing up to 75% of those infected. Kerala's first Nipah outbreak killed 21 of the 23 infected, while subsequent outbreaks in 2019 and 21 killed 2 people. In May, an investigation showed parts of Kerala among the places most at risk globally for outbreaks of bat viruses, as the clearing of forests for development throws people and wildlife into closer contact. A huge fire gutted several hundred shops at a market in Bangladesh's capital Dhaka, but there were no casualties as the blaze swept through the area in the early hours today before stores opened. It took 6 hours for military forces and firefighters to contain the blaze, which spread quickly in the Mohammadpur market due to large amount of flammable items such as cooking oil and plastics. Eyewitness footage shared on social media showed firefighters and people working to put out the fire. A fire service official said there were no casualties in the fire, which was likely caused by an electric short circuit. Fires are common in densely populated Dhaka, which has seen a building boom in recent years, often without proper safety measures. Fires and explosions often occur due to faulty gas cylinders, air conditioners and bad electrical wiring. In April, a fire in a shopping complex in Dhaka injured several firefighters and burned down some 5,000 stores. It's time now for another break. We'll be right back. Welcome back. It's time now for the sports update.
Sports news brought to you by उलासको सम्पूर्ण जस्ता पातामा मोटाइसँगै तौल पनि प्रष्ट छापिएको हुन्छ। उलास भए अरु किन खोज्ने?
Lakshmi Steel, Nepalमै guaranteed #1 quality.
The Nepali contingent participating at the 19th Asian Games was bade farewell earlier today. Speaking during the event, Prime Minister Pushpa Kamal Dahal pledged to release the money promised to the athletes. Premier Dahal said the government has always considered the development of players in the high priority. The Prime Minister even pledged to release the blocked money previously assured to the players tomorrow itself through a cabinet decision. Meanwhile, Minister for Youth and Sports Dig Bahadur Limbu viewed that players should be provided with red passports. Nepal are participating in 29 disciplines in Hangzhou Asian Games that begins from 23rd of September next week in China. Nepal are sending a sizable contingent of 254 members, including 253 players, 52 coaches, 30 team managers and 11-member medical team. National Sports Council member Secretary Tangkalal Kising said that the participation of athletes in 29 disciplines was an achievement in itself. ASEAN this time will see the coming together of over 12,000 players from 45 nations. In this context, in our Public Voice segment, today we've asked in all 7 provinces what they would like to say to the Nepali athletes participating at the upcoming Asian Games that is to be held in China's Guangzhou. Let's take a look at what they had to say.
एशियन गेममा कमसेकम पनि हाम्रो चाहिँ नाम र हाम्रो चाहिँ इज्जत नेपालको इज्जत र प्रतिष्ठा राखुन् भन्ने मेरो शुभकामना छ।
उत्कृष्ट प्रदर्शन गरी पदक प्राप्त गर्ने तरिकाले खेल्न मेरो सुझाव छ।
राष्ट्रको लागि पनि केही कुरा गर्छ भन्ने चाहिँ एउटा चाहिँ आशा लिएर चाहिँ मैले चाहिँ केही चाहना गरेको छु।
देशको नाम राख्ने गरी खेल खेल्न मेरो सुझाव छ।
पदकका साथ हामीले चाहिँ स्वागत गर्न पाऊँ भन्ने मैले चाहिँ आशा व्यक्त गरेको छु।
नेपालबाट जाने सबै खेलाडीहरूलाई चाहिँ राम्रोसित खेल्नुहोस्, पदक जितेर्नुहोस्, राष्ट्रको नाम राख्नुहोस् भन्न चाहन्छु।
राम्रोसँग खेलोस् अनि मेडल लिएर आओस्, वर्ल्डमा हाम्रो नाम होस्।
एसियन लेभलमा गएर नेपालले धेरै स्वर्ण पदक प्राप्त होस्।
अनुशासनमा रहेर खेल्नुपर्छ अनि मेडल नआए भने केही फरक पर्दैन, तर देशको नाम उच्च गर्नुपर्छ।
मेडल जिते आए भने राम्रै हुन्थ्यो, तर नजिते भने पनि आफ्नो देशलाई प्राउड चाहिँ फिल गराइदिए।
जुन किसिमको अहिलेसम्म नपाएको नतिजा छ त्यो ल्याउनलाई हामीले बेस्ट परफर्मेन्स दिनुपर्छ।
यसपालि पनि मेरो शुभकामना यही छ कि हाम्रो देशलाई एउटा मेडल जितेर लाओस्।
सम्पूर्ण खेलाडीहरूलाई चाहिँ राम्रो परफर्मेन्सका साथ चाहिँ उत्रिनका लागि म अनुरोध गर्दछु।
Pakistan are currently taking on Sri Lanka in a do-or-die Super 4 match under the Asia Cup. The match at Colombo Premadasa Stadium started after rain interruption as the match was reduced to 42 overs. Pakistan elected to bat first after winning the toss, however got off to a bad start as they lost the early wicket of Fakhar Zaman. The match today is a virtual semi-final as the winner will advance to the final where they will take on India for the coveted Asia Cup title. Pakistan scored 252 runs for the loss of 7 wickets of their stipulated 42 overs. Mohammad Rizwan top scored for Pakistan with a well-compiled 86 runs as he remained unbeaten till the end. Abdullah Safiq with 52 runs and Iftikhar Ahmed with 47 runs ensured that Pakistan posted a competitive score at the end. In reply, Sri Lanka also lost the early wicket of Kushal Perera, who was run out for 70 runs. When the report last reached us, Sri Lanka had scored 77 runs for the loss of 2 wickets. Kushal Mendis and Pathum Nisanka are on the crease for Sri Lanka at the moment. And that is all for the moment. Thank you for watching. Good night.